What up, guys? Is WWE Smackville the best pay-per-view that we've ever watched? Not really.
No, not even close.
But is it a good pay-per-view? Also no.
No.
But we're here to review it anyway because it's in our hometown, Nashville, Tennessee. For Smart Week, I'm Chase.
I'm Jonko.
And we about to dive into it, man. So, Jonko, I gotta be totally honest, dude. First impressions on this, it's not good. So one thing I did like is I like the minimal stage. It kind of reminded me of when they did the ECW One Night Stand pay-per-views, and it was just like the brick wall there, if you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, that's cool. You know, it is a smaller arena. They don't need to like blow this up and pretend like this is a bigger show than it is, especially since people are already calling them out on house show numbers. But man, the rest of this just felt like it felt like they just happened to be in the area and they're like, hey, let's put on a show for the poor people. Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah, it raised many questions for me. To just throw it out there for you guys. Here is my full-on review. It won't take 10 seconds. Maybe a little more. I don't know. It was a house show. It had house show things. The end. Now, to expand upon that, everything happened that you would expect to happen. Like, there were no surprises. I didn't expect to see any, but they wanted to make this show out to be a big deal. Kind of missed the mark there. For me, threw a light on a bigger question of, and obviously we can get into this more later, but how important is the house show in 2019?
I don't know. The thing is, like, we keep calling this a house show, but we've been to house shows. House shows are longer than this. This was an hour long. It was 3 matches and a whole lot of Elias just hanging out.
There were. So I mean, you do too. I mean, we've both got wrestling buddies around this area. Aleister Black was there and did some shit, but we didn't get to see that. So there were matches that did not air. There were a few dark matches, which doesn't surprise me. But at the same time, like, make it a 2-hour show if you're going to try to build it up to be some kind of special thing.
Dude, I almost just killed myself and you didn't even see it. I went to stretch my foot out for a second and I hit my light and my light came like tumbling down on top of me. I caught it and like pushed it back. Sorry.
That's fun.
Honestly, dude, Aleister Black being at the show and we didn't get that? Like, what is the point of that?
Yeah.
The matches we did get, and I don't want to like go too far into it because we're going to run down the card. But the matches we did get, every single one of them, it was like, okay, I know who's going to win. This is still a house show.
Right.
So they're going to do all good guys over unless it would cause a title to change hands. 999,000 times out of whatever the next number up is, a million. That title's not changing hands. Generally, if a title changes hands at a house show, it's a mistake that happens, and then they play it up on TV like it was a big deal, and then they swap the title back.
Yeah, or it was a last minute decision. We've seen that happen before as well. Like,
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, these guys weren't supposed to win the match on television, so we're just going to flip it back on a house show. And, you know, back in the day, Ric Flair used to drop the title all the time on house shows just because he had so much nuclear heat that he was scared he wouldn't make it out of the city if he won. So he'd let the local babyface win, and then on a technicality, he'd get the belt back.
Man, fucking Ric Flair. What a genius. But all right, dude, let's run down the card real quick. So things start off. The first thing that they give us is, hey, an update. Finn Balor is injured. He's not going to be here tonight.
Which, to expand upon that, he's not injured. He's sick. The more you know.
Did they say he was sick or did they say injured?
They announced that he was injured on the show, but he's actually got a bug or something. He's
Dang.
not actually hurt. So anyone out there who's worried, don't be too worried. He's just sick. Got a little flu or some shit.
He's just sick. It could still kill him, but don't worry about it.
We'd have heard about it by then or by now.
No, you're right.
If it's anything that serious.
Man. But so we don't get Finn Balor, but honestly, like, I didn't know what the card was going into the show, so that didn't bother me at all. But we ended up getting Shinsuke Nakamura coming out. Again, Shinsuke, great wrestler. Promo skills, not there. Not there with English audiences. It to the point that when the surprise opponent came out, Ali, the first thing he said was, "Well, you did say one of those things, right?" And the way he worded it, I was like, "Oh my god, did he just cut like a typical like American xenophobic promo on Shinsuke?" It's like, I mean, don't get me wrong, Ali speaks great English. He speaks very well. But it seems odd coming from him. You can tell someone else told him to say it.
Well, it was. I mean, he's very much from Chicago. Like they even mentioned it during the match. Like, yeah, this dude's born and bred Chicago guy. So we go back, but they really have a hard time booking these little underdog baby faces these days, don't they?
He feels so unimportant because he's been off TV for so long, and not only that, but they're flip flopping him. So on one SmackDown, he was like, "Yeah, Shinsuke, I'm coming after you in that Intercontinental title." The very next week, they gave Shinsuke a different opponent, and then cut a promo or had Ali cut a promo saying that he has his sights set on the world title opportunity that he missed out on. And now he's back to the Intercontinental. He's like, I thought about it, and world title is a little too much for me, so we're gonna backpedal a little bit.
If you really want to reach, you can say that. Oh, well, yeah, I'm going for the heavyweight title, but Finn's not here, and this belt's supposed to be defended. Why not jump on that while I'm here?
It's just,
but that's like I said, that's a reach. That's a reach.
Yeah, it's WWE logic, just fucking things up, man. And the thing is, both of these guys are incredible wrestlers. Like, they're not just good, they're great.
Yep.
And we should feel that way when we see them wrestle. But the crowd was dead. I was dead during, like, again, during high spots, there are a couple moments I was like, oh, man, that was awesome. One thing that always pops me, and I'm glad that they did it in here, because, like, when I think about it in my mind, the spatial awareness you have to be able to do this, where Ali did the 450 and caught himself on one foot and like just kept moving forward instead of actually like he caught himself and stopped on the mat. Like, how do you know exactly where your flip is going to be able to land like that and keep going? I don't know. Maybe it's not as like crazy as I make it out to be, but in my brain, that's some talented shit.
Well, he took that bump off of the ropes where he fell straight to the floor, but he hit his head on the apron.
Yeah,
that's another one of those little things where it's like, you got to be real precise in that, or you're gonna fuck your day up bad.
Yeah, you're gonna hurt. You're gonna really hurt, and that's why this is for professionals. But things like that have always been super cool to me. Another thing is I really liked the finish, where the way that Ali sold, because Shinsuke threw his head into the turnbuckle, but Ali didn't go head first into the turnbuckle. His feet came out from under him. His feet went under the bottom rope, and he fucking face planted the turnbuckle. And I was just like, oh, shit. It was like one of those moments where I just stopped because you don't see that. Honestly, I can't recall a time that I've ever seen that.
Yeah, it was a pretty good looking bump. It was a really good looking bump.
And then, of course, he got up. Kinshasa. Champion retains. No surprise there.
And I'll go out on a limb and say this was probably the highlight of the show, this match.
Yeah.
I thought that the roll into the X Factor was cool. Roll through the ropes from Ali. They didn't call it an X Factor, though. It was like, Tom Phillips missed a few calls tonight, which, I mean, kind of adds to that whole, we're going to put a house show on TV element. Like, he missed a few calls, but it is what it is. Who expects one, good commentary from WWE in general these days, and two, good commentary from David Otunga and Tom Phillips?
I was questioning the same thing. Like, if this is supposed to be a big deal, why do we have this ragtag commentary team where they were like, they stuck their hand in the commentary barrel and they're like, let's reach to the bottom. What haven't we used in a while? And then they found David Otunga and they're like, oh, he was on Raw Reunion, and they just like pull him out. And
Yeah, and did you hear the thing before? I think it was like at the beginning of the match. Tom Phillips mentioned they were talking about, oh, well, I don't know how ready he is for Ali. He was preparing for Finn Balor and da da da. And Otunga's like, well, I don't know if he was ready or if Ali was ready because he was in the back eating before this match. How dare him have food? What the fuck? Why would anyone eat before going and wrestling?
yeah, it just felt weird.
Yeah.
I do have one more note for this match, and it's something that I've noticed multiple times, but it's finally bothered me like enough to say something. Why is Shinsuke Nakamura's entrance video the literal music video for his theme song? When Stone Cold had Disturbed doing his theme, he didn't have Disturbed fucking up on the screen when he came out. Like, they weren't just rocking out in an abandoned warehouse, and that was his music video. Like, no, give him a highlight reel, put something together, get him a graphic that moves. Something. Like, why make him feel so unimportant that he doesn't even have a video?
I don't know. I will. Okay, I don't like that video, but I do like that it's not the usual name, moving name, effects on name, go away, name. Like,
that's how you brand. Like, it doesn't have to be as generic as WWE is making it out to be, but it has to be something. None of that has anything to do with Shinsuke Nakamura.
And
they could easily do the violins. They could put like moving violins animated in the graphic, whatever they want to do. That very much fits like his theme and sort of who he is, because he'll even do like the pantomiming and the rocking out and whatever. I'm cool with that. Have a couple of clips of him hitting Kinshasas on big stars because he's done it.
Yeah. But I'll go out on a limb and say that most, and this is a feedback for the wrestling community as a whole. I say community, industry as a whole, most people don't do very well with their entrances and whatnot. It's all kind of the same thing. It's like, here's this neat little thing we made in 20 minutes in After Effects. Bray Wyatt is about the only one now that has like a unique, I mean, he's always had one of the more unique things.
Yeah, but you kind of have to for him. You can't just do a wrestling video package because his wrestling is not his focus.
Right. Yeah. But at the same time, like his Titantron, whenever he was the cult leader, was just a bunch of little lights, supposed to be the Fireflies, whatever. Cool.
Yeah.
Now it's just everything goes black. It shows his face and disappears. That's all you need for him. That's dope.
Yeah, true.
Spot on branding.
Less is more with him. I agree with that.
Now, I wish they would do a better job of everyone else. I think that the Seth Rollins one was okay for a while when it was just mostly static, but even they then had the logo action thing logo.
And now it's just fun.
It's cringe.
Just burn it down, right, boys?
Yeah, burn it down, boys. Hell yeah. But I do mind his less, or I do hate his less than most of them, just for what it's worth.
It just drives me nuts. Like, I don't think the video itself is bad. It just has nothing. It doesn't get him over in any way. It doesn't make him look cool.
No.
It makes it makes the band look cool. People are seeing his video and be like, oh fuck, I should find out who does this song. Download that song.
Yeah, it was cool for about 2-3 weeks when he first changed the theme song, and then it was like, all right, do something else now. Leave the music there. Cool. We know it's different music. You've highlighted it's different music. Just move on.
But they won't. They probably won't.
Subtlety is a lost art sometimes.
But up next on the show, we got an announcement that Elias would be doing a live performance. This ran so long. They easily could have put a fourth match in here and just been like, hey, tonight it's going to be Elias versus Kevin Owens. And the reason being is that Kevin Owens is fighting Shane McMahon at SummerSlam. That's logic any WWE fan could put together. We get it. Cool. Makes sense. Yeah, this is a match building up to the SummerSlam match. Would have been even better if Shane McMahon had been there to like be in Elias's corner or whatever, but he's probably not even in Nashville. Let's be totally honest.
Probably not.
But Elias does a lot of teasing. He does a lot of talking, first of all, a lot of like solo playing, like warming up. Tells a story to try and get cheap heat from the Tennessee Titans, which great. I knew it was coming because let's be honest, we have one of the worst football teams always.
I got to interject there though. As a Titans fan, most of us have accepted that the Titans are going to be perennial great Nate. Like they're not going to win a lot of games. We are aware. If you want to get real heat in Nashville, say the Preds aren't going to win the cup.
I was thinking the same thing actually, and make a reference to Smashville being full of losers, but Smackville walks with Elias. And I actually was thinking that while I was taking a shit. And if I can come up with that on the toilet, why didn't WWE come up with anything like that with all their fucking writers? Like,
well, they think it's still 2004 and people only care about football. I mean, Nashville's a hockey town now.
Yeah, we're a hockey town. That's 100%.
Just is.
But I will say it did get the desired effect. You did get the cheap heat. It's probably the loudest reaction all fucking night, to be totally honest. And it didn't come from any of your wrestling, which is a problem.
Yeah, true.
But he starts playing songs, and this whole thing is just him getting over how good Shane McMahon is. This heel is spending all of his promo time getting over another heel. Let me tell you, heels don't do that unless they're a tag team. But then you have the tag team out together, getting each other over at the same time. This whole thing felt hokey as shit. I'm sure Elias probably felt like he was wasting his time. To go out there and get over Shane McMahon because Shane McMahon wasn't going to be there is completely absurd. It took up too much time on the show. And the funny thing is the first song he sang was like, who deserves more airtime? Shane McMahon. Well, congratulations, Elias. You just got it for him. He didn't even have to be there. I put in the note, why don't they just have Elias fillet Shane McMahon and get it over with? But the whole thing ran long. I will say there was a decent little pop for Kevin Owens when he slid in under the ring. To be totally honest, I would have popped for anybody at that point. I was just ready to stop seeing this segment.
I did like Kevin Owens though. He did that. Can a referee come down here and do the dramatic slide into the ring and start this match?
My favorite one was where the referee was talking to the guy on the outside, and Kevin Owens was like, "What are you guys saying? Secrets don't make friends."
Yeah. And that just further drive the whole takeaway of all of this for me is, thank goodness at least the WWE have Kevin Owens.
Yeah.
And they're actually putting him in a spot where he matters for once. Like, I know he was there for a little bit, but he was kind of a side card to he's kind of a side piece to the main story. But
he's been
holy shit, the guy is fantastic. Thank you WWE for giving us Kevin Owens in the way. I don't even mind him being like almost the budget Stone Cold at this point, because that's kind of how they're framing him.
I think he's good at what he's doing. He doesn't have to come out there and drink beer or whatever. He's just a guy that enjoys being there. He's like the happy-go-lucky wrestler. He's just glad to be there, and he's going to do whatever he wants. And he throws stunners out. I think that's cool, and I also think it's going to save his body in the long run versus trying to do pop-up power bombs on some of these bigger guys.
Yeah.
Because you get a guy like John Cena who can hop, and the pop-up power bomb looks great, but trying to pull one on a guy like Elias, who is not a bad wrestler, but doesn't have ups like that. And you're either not going to be able to do it at all, or it's going to look terrible when you do it. So the Stone Cold Stunner is great. I'm glad that they okayed him to do that. I'm also glad that he is a babyface, and hopefully he stays a babyface, because right after he started doing it, they put him heel again. And it's like, what is the fucking point?
He 100% needs to be in the same. He's a natural tweener. Like, he's still, even as a babyface, he's a smartass, which I love, and I miss that in wrestling. I miss when the baby faces weren't all, oh shucks, by golly, suffering succotash.
But
like, it's kind of a throwback to when baby faces were actually enjoyable.
He's not always a tweener though, like he should be. I agree with you. But they either have him as a tweener, which is his way of being a face, or he's full on heel. And there is no in between. When he's a heel, there's no like, hey, I'm also kind of a good guy. But then when he's a good guy, he's like, I'm also kind of a bad guy. So there's a lot of inconsistency in his booking. He's been losing a lot. Like, as good as Kevin Owens is, with this match as well, I was just like, I don't care. Both of these guys have been losing constantly.
Yeah.
There's no build. There's no reason to care about this. I honestly wouldn't be surprised if Kevin Owens. Well, no, they got the quit stipulation, so of course Kevin Owens is winning that shit.
Let me throw this out there, because it is Stone. He is doing the Stone Cold thing. Stone Cold got fired.
Oh, that's true. Oh my God, if they rehash that, I don't think he's at that level yet. So if that's what they're trying to do, I don't think it's gonna do what they want it to do.
But it is WWE.
You're right, and that's why I can't discredit what you're saying.
Yeah, be prepared for it. Be prepared for it.
I can't possibly be prepared for the things that WWE are going to throw at us.
The good thing there is that WWE no longer know how to do long-term booking, so the longest he'll be off TV is what, 3 weeks?
I give it about 2 days. Yeah, he's going to show up on NXT and be like, hey, I'm an NXT star this week, and then the next week he'll like show up back on Raw because he's not a Raw or SmackDown star. The brand split is over. It doesn't exist. But so that we don't get off on like too much of a tangent on just Kevin Owens, because man, that is a fantasy booking rabbit hole.
Yep.
So they have a match. It's a match. Nothing terribly exciting there. Kevin Owens wins with a stunner. I got to be honest, I don't have any like other notes other than the fact that Kevin Owens won with the stunner, because there was nothing really terribly exciting going on in this match.
I do. I have notes. I legit just watched this back right before we came on here to talk. There was a spot where Kevin Owens was getting back into the ring and Elias hit him with like a jumping like kick straight to the face. Looked really good. But then there's also the point where he did the old school and then went into a double knee takedown. Kind of reminiscent of, I don't even know if you saw me put it in the notes, Chase. The old school setup for the double knee takedown, and then Tom Phillips came back later and he was like, "Well, after he hit that meteora from the top rope, it's like, well."
So they're just like trying to copy. They're just like, "Hey, let's find the moves that the top guys in AEW do, and we're just gonna do them better."
Yeah, it's like, nah, I'd rather watch Shima do that. Go away. Go away.
Yeah, no, I fully.
I thought the move looked okay, but the problem I have, and this is a problem I had with Undertaker when he did the old school. If you were in a legit fight, which is how you should always look at a wrestling match, like it should always be paced like an actual fight, in my opinion. Who the fuck is gonna sit there, hold your hand while you get up on the turnbuckle, and you walk across the turnbuckle? And then look around and then jump and do anything.
It's one of those flashy moves, though, man. You got to suspend belief so it's just like the people's elbow. It's one of those things. It's more of a spectacle. It's the 5-knuckle shuffle on the top rope.
Yeah, but
it gets the crowd hyped. It's there for a reason. If it didn't work, they wouldn't do it. So you can't really discredit it. As goofy,
you can't really use that argument because it is WWE too. I'm just saying.
Yeah, they were using it when WWE was the best in the world.
That's true. That's true. But it was a different time then. There was a lot of wild shit going on in wrestling at that point, and it was a lot easier to suspend disbelief. Now you got to work for it, and I think that's one that should just. One, I would still let The Undertaker get away with it just because, all right, yeah, I would agree with you 100% on that. But other people doing it, nah, put it away. Put it away. If you want to get up on the top rope and do something, do the Meteora, okay, cool. It's a cool-looking move. It looks like it's impactful. All right. But You can set that up just like any other top rope move. You don't have to have them hold your hand and get up on the rope. And
I think even with holding the hand, there's a way to do it. Think about like the lucha arm drag, where they like bounce second rope, top rope, and they like they like bounce their legs off of it, and then they kind of like backflip and then do the arm drag.
True.
There are still ways to do it, but I agree. The slow setup is definitely got to go. It's like, why does that guy not just let go of you and let you fall?
Yeah.
Or just because I'm not going to help you
pull you down. It's like, oh, you're up there. Oh, you're up there now. Okay, cool. You have no balance. Let me yank on your hand. Now you're not doing anything.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you in that regard. I think the moves definitely have they have a purpose, but I do think that the slow setup has to go, unless you're just selling like, hey, this person is so beat up, I can take my time with this shit. And at that point, it should be like part of a beatdown angle. Like, this guy is
plus that's a whole other level of psychology that I don't think Elias is ever going to get on.
No, because his matches aren't going to run that long. Because he's usually taking the L before then.
Yeah.
Or he's trying to put Shane McMahon's wiener in his mouth, which is also fine. We're in a day and age where there's no. I mean, there was never anything wrong with that, but now everybody knows there's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah.
But man, I don't care.
Yeah, and maybe the setup is the problem I have with it. Yeah. I mean,
it's a long setup.
I think it's.
If a guy like Grand Metalik were to do the exact same thing, but he hopped to the top rope first and then did it, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. You're watching him, you're like, that dude's agile as shit. Of course he can do that, and he can do it quick too. But yeah, that slow climb up and then walking the rope, it's like, just push him out, kill him. You'd win.
Yeah. I mean, you're talking about the like the over the top lucha arm drag thing. Like, that's a really fast thing that happens. That's an actual showcase of agility. And so the real quick bounce up only takes a couple of seconds, where it seemed like you just hit pause on your TV for about a good 3 minutes and then unpause it. And then he jumps off and does the meteor. I'm just like, ugh.
Yeah, it's too much. Now that you got me thinking about it, I'm with you. I don't like it. Let's not do it anymore.
Get it out of here.
Do you have any other notes for that match?
No.
Okay.
I don't really have many notes on the matches themselves. I was very bored with this show.
Yeah, it's low tier. But I will say after this, or maybe it was right before it, but we got a promo from Joe. The promo was great. He's talking about how people refer to triple threats as like, that's a dangerous game to play because you don't even have to lose to not win. The other person can get pinned and all of a sudden you're not the champion. You get screwed over. He's like, but for me, this is a perfect scenario because what I'm good at is beating people up, and now there's more people to beat up. And I don't know. I thought he did a really good job with the actual promo. They did a promo with Kofi Kingston before the match. I know you had a note on that, but I got to be honest, like, the promo itself didn't bother me. The background where they had like the giant belt stickers and the world title said best arena in the world, and it was the Bridgestone logo. Like, are you fucking high?
Yeah, and then the prehistoric heavyweight champion with Nash's face on it.
Yeah, what? It was
kind of cheesy. That's kind of cheesy. Almost as cheesy as referencing an 8-year-old rap song that most people didn't even really care for after that year.
I got to be honest. I knew he was referencing something because of the way he was saying it, but I didn't.
That's all you need to know is Future.
I don't know anything Future ever. But yeah, the promo, it wasn't bad. It was a whole lot of okay. I think the setting and like the open air made it sound less impactful. And also, I had never seen that backstage interviewer before. That could just be because I don't watch as much WWE TV as I should. But hey, I work early mornings. I catch the first half of Raw, go to sleep. I don't get to catch any of SmackDown before I'm in bed. So that's just what it is.
And I have the opposite problem. I get home halfway through and just say, I don't care.
man. But yeah, so not a whole lot going on there. Again, come out the entrances, very ECW one night stand, which I didn't mind at all. But the match itself, pretty standard house show stuff.
Yeah.
I do have a note here for the table spot. That table was supposed to break, right? But Dolph didn't even try for the freaking hip toss that he was trying to do. He went for it, and Dolph just kind of like half-ass jumped, and instead of doing a flip bump, just sort of like rolled over onto it. It's like, oh no, the table. And then the only other note that I have was Dolph Ziggler, his heel work while everyone else was making their entrances, where he was harassing the commentators. The first thing, when he came out, he went to his corner and said, hey, you have to move this table somewhere else. It's in my contract. I thought that was really good.
Yeah, it's a good touch.
And then when Samoa Joe was making his way out and Kofi was making his way out, Tom Phillips said something about Dolph Ziggler, and Dolph Ziggler heard it, got off the apron, came around, and was like yelling at him, like telling him things to say into the microphone. And I thought that was a really nice touch too. That's heel work we really generally don't get a chance to see because everything is so far away, commentary wise now. But I don't know. I thought that was a really cool touch. I enjoyed that. The rest of the match, whatever. I did like the moment where Joe and Dolph were like, if we break him, then it's just you and me. And it's not so much them teaming up because we knew that was going to happen. Two heels and a face, of course, they're going to team up. But it was the interaction that they had, the words they were actually saying, and how well you could hear it over the mics. I thought that was a nice touch as well.
Yeah, it made it feel like their goal was to get Kofi out of there, period. Didn't matter what happened.
Have a one-on-one.
Just get Kofi out of there, period.
I agree. I thought that was super cool. Other than that, man, trouble in paradise to Joe. I'm kind of bummed that Joe took the pinfall. Like, Ziggler's out there. He's super part-time. He's doing his comedy stuff on the side. Unless you have something really awesome planned for Ziggler, which it's been years, so I doubt it. Why have Joe take the pinfall and look even worse? Like,
you're playing a game of how many dope promos he can cut and still lose before people just stop giving a shit completely.
Yeah, what a shame, dude. And I'm sure Triple H is like just burying his face in his hands because Triple H is clearly a fan of Samoa Joe.
Oh, absolutely.
You saw that by the treatment he got in NXT. And the pushes that Joe does get are clearly inspired by Triple H. Like, but it's not really a push if you get thrust in this main event spot out of nowhere, and then you lose, and then you go back down the card and do nothing. You get handed a title by Rey Mysterio, and then lose it the first time you defend it.
Yeah, they need desperately to give him some credibility. The U.S. title is not credible, especially if you're just going to give it up that quickly. Give him. It doesn't have to be a massively long run. Just give him a title run. I promise it'll be good. Kofi's better at chasing than he is at holding anyway. I mean,
honestly, dude, we don't know if Kofi's better at holding because he hasn't had any real contenders. It's Joe and Dolph Ziggler.
Yeah.
I mean, he's about to face Randy Orton. This is his first real title defense, and I'm hoping this match is going to be fucking fire because he needs it.
The possibility is there. They have the chance of doing something special. Those guys, I mean, they're buddies behind the scenes, right? Like Orton and
I mean, they are now.
But like Orton can make anyone look good. Kofi can make anyone look good. That should add up. Big ol' should add up for some really good wrestling. But as we've seen in the past, it doesn't always work out that way. But to wrap up the review, I mean, it was a house show.
Yeah.
The only difference between a network special and a house show at this point, evidently, is just backstage promos. Like that's the only thing that felt any different at all to me.
The only difference is them televising it, because I've been to house shows where they show like little promo videos like that up on the screens that they have. And usually it'll build to like the main event. They'll talk about like what it's like to be in a cage with their opponent or something like, but I've seen those things. I don't know, man. They said that this was supposed to be like their test to be able to short-term counter program against AEW pay-per-views. And let me tell you, if this is what you came up with, AEW has nothing to worry about. They are going to blow you out of the fucking water every single time.
Yeah.
Dude, that's all I got to say.
Yeah. For the WWE fans out there, I don't even know that I consider myself a WWE fan anymore. I'm just kind of honestly watching it because there's nothing else on. The future, you got to be hopeful for Bischoff and Heyman turning the ship around, but still has to go through Vince at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Is it more than just a paper title? Because it's getting bad, guys. It's getting bad. This is the thought that I have every time I watch WWE programming is, please God, let something else come along. This is terrible. I used to love wrestling. I can't stand to even watch it now. Someone come along and fix it. I thought Ring of Honor was going to be that. Didn't really pan out that way. I'm not saying that, Ring of Honor is bad. It's just not really scratching the itch. Unless it's only an hour a week. I think that's a little too short for a show in 2019, just personally. I think 2 hours is the sweet spot.
I think it's too hard to get 2 hours of TV time as a smaller wrestling company. I don't think that's a decision that they made. I think that's their time slot.
I would agree, but at the same time, I mean, here, when are they on? Like 10 or 11 o'clock on Sunday night? Like,
yeah, but there's still stuff on afterward. Like, you still have to pay for that time.
Yeah.
I guess what I'm saying is like
it's
the
a
money
Sinclair
they're
network,
making
and it's a Sinclair
what they're paying.
product.
It's probably what's best for them.
I mean, they put all their shit on Fight anyway. Just take it off TV and put it all on Fight for 2 hours a show. I think it more for them comes down to the way that they make their TV, where it's like, we're here this week, and they have like a 3-hour show or a 4-hour show or a few hours worth over 2 days, and they record it all and they throw it on TV. They kind of chop it up and throw it up.
Yeah, they do 3 TV recordings at a time.
Yeah, and so I mean, I don't hold it against them. I mean, it'd be a lot to double your days for recording, but I don't know. I just it seems like every time I watch a Ring of Honor show, I have to go a few weeks without watching and then watch a bunch of them at once, or I just get I get into it about the time the show ends. It seems like it happens like that for me every single time.
Yeah. I'm gonna cut you off there because I'm running out of time. But guys, Smackville ain't it. Hopefully SummerSlam is doing better. But I have to run. So for Smart Week, I'm Chase.
I'm Jonko.
We'll see you next time, guys.